Cain Country begins in 1 minute.
One, Sydney Sweeney. First, hot Sydney Sweeney basically becomes a Nazi. And then, Dunkin' Donuts. What is eugenics? 2, could AI save Hollywood? A conversation with YouTube sensation Nerdrotic. 3, quick hits in sports from Christian Wilkins, what he was doing at the bottom of a pile that might have led to the bottom of his career. Focused too much on bottoms. No longer a Las Vegas Raider. And more, including can Eric Swalwell out bench press Greg Gutfeld? It is Will Cain Country, streaming live at foxnews.com, on the Fox News YouTube channel and the Fox News Facebook page. Every Monday through Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Set a reminder, jump into the comments section, become a member of the militia. If you're listening on terrestrial radio in some 36 stations across this great, vast, sea to shining sea, United States of America, head over to Spotify or Apple, hit subscribe, and please make sure you're a member of our audience on YouTube, Facebook, or on podcast. Speaking of the comments and speaking of the militia, the other day I said to you, hey, we focus a lot on mental health in the days after a shooting, like the shooting in New York City at the headquarters of the NFL. But can you write a law? Can you craft something that denies a constitutional right, like the Second Amendment protected rights to own a gun for someone suffering from depression? Can you guard against problems in mental health? Can you rob someone of their right because of their health? I asked that question to you of the militia. I said, write the law if you can. Drop into the comments section. And Eleanor MacArthur says, I think if I were forced to do a gun law involving mental health, I think it would be based on how recent the person has been hospitalized or not. Also, maybe the owner would get a reevaluation from time to time. Eleanor, I think that would be a practical application that might satisfy all of our concerns. But unfortunately, the Constitution of the United States is not meant for practicality. It's meant for absolutism. What I mean by that is it's not practical for us to maintain the rights that we maintain as a free citizenry. The reason it's not practical is because people can abuse rights, do bad things, such as the nature of man and freedom. So while we might solve a problem in our personal life or in our home life, according to practicality, as a populace, as a people, as a constitutional republic, you start asking tough questions. Hospitalized for what? Hospitalized by whom? Diagnosed by what doctor? Qualified with what medical degree? Placed in front of a judge with what politics? It's hard because you and I could look at someone and say, listen to this, look at what he did, look at the way he's thinking. Have you heard about Eddie and the things that he's doing? My man is walking on the streets, no pants. He shouldn't have a gun. On the other hand, it's different when it's a collective populace, protected freedoms and rights in a constitutional republic. I think it's hard. I think it's hard to write that law. Meanwhile, Francis Torres says, tough on crime. When will these idiots stop messing with the Second Amendment? Imagine those people, of course, a strict gun law state run by idiots, have the ability to actually protect themselves. Francis referencing what I believe to be the case, that in a free republic, in a free society, the only real protection you can offer is the protection of yourself. The only answer to a bad guy with a gun ultimately isn't more police, isn't it mental health checks. It's a good guy with a gun. We got Tinfoil Pat, we've got Two-A-Days Dan, we got the crew here today on this wonderful Thursday, and we've got news coming out a little bit later today. The President of the United States seems set to bring back the presidential fitness test, presidential fitness standards, along with head of HHS Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We're all going to have to start again with the flex arm hang. Did a little pre-show survey. Everyone here had to do the presidential fitness test when we were in elementary school, but it's been phased out, I believe. My sons did not have to do this, and I don't think that young kids are having to go run the miles. Soft, weak, protected from embarrassment and shame. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I think my presidential fitness test was different. Here's what we had to do, and I can't remember what grade, and I think it was annually. We had to run the mile, do as many sit-ups as possible in a fixed amount of time. I don't remember what that was. 60 seconds, 3 minutes. And then we had to do the flex arm hang, which was, in lieu of a pull-up or a chin-up, you had to get your head above the bar, your chin above the bar, flexed your arms, right, and held yourself for as long as possible while they timed you. Now, I know that the presidential fitness test was a day of a lot of angst. I know it was a week that everyone dreaded. And I know that there was a lot of shame and embarrassment for people out there that thought, this is not going to be good. I'm going to drop on the flex arm hang right away. Or in my case, I really hate the mile. I've always hated running. I still hate running. I'm a slow runner. I'm a belabored runner.
You're better in water.
I am maritime.
Yeah.
Correct, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm better.
You're not a land man. You're a water man.
I'm aquatic.
Yeah.
Aquaman?
I'm aquatic.
Aquaman.
Correct.
There we go. Thank you.
Well, when I was a
Comic book
kid and
reference.
you played which superhero will you be, I always did gravitate to Aquaman because I was like, well, I could be Aquaman maybe. That's why I thought I'll be a Navy SEAL. I never thought I'll be a Green Beret.
So you could date a dolphin?
I was
Damn,
neither a
that's weird.
Navy SEAL nor Aquaman. What did you guys have to do in the presidential fitness test? You told me you didn't have to do the flex arm hang.
We did the sit and reach. We had that little box that had little ticks on it for like the distance you can get your arm like all the way so when you stretch to your toes. That was what we did instead of that, and to climb the rope.
We had quite a few. So
You had
like
to
we ran the
climb
mile.
the rope.
Yeah,
I think
climb the
we
rope in
did-
front of the whole class.
We also did a shuttle run in addition to the mile. We did sit and reach, like Dan said, push-ups, pull-ups, and curl-ups. I think depends on. You can also do the flex arm hang. It depends on the generation. But yeah,
They should do-
I didn't do any of those.
You did a lot. That was a lot
we had,
of
like,
things.
three
Ours
different
was 3
things
events
for them.
back in the day.
Yeah, we had more too. I think we had about like 6 or something like that.
I don't remember any tests of flexibility. I remember 2 things. I remember in the sit-up test. Can you guys remember how long the sit-up test was? Was it 3 minutes? Was it 1 minute? What was it? I can't remember.
3 feels right. I'm checking.
But I was good at 2 of the 3 events. I was good at the sit-ups, and I was good at the flex arm hang. I was bad at the mile run.
1 minute.
You remember in the
typically.
sit-ups, did you guys ever do this? 1 minute, okay, sit-ups. And you'd go as fast as you could, right? And they weren't crunches. We didn't do crunches back in the day. We did sit-ups. And you'd go real fast, and your buddy would hold your feet, remember?
Yeah.
And as you did it, you'd go so fast that your butt would come off the ground.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And
Yeah.
your butt, and you'd bang your butt every time.
Yeah.
And
Which is
you
not
get
a real
all
sit-up.
bruised tailbone from just going so fast. You'd just be flying in the air as quick as you could to get
Doing
squeeze out as many
doing
sit-ups
no
as
abdominal
possible.
exercise actually.
What is it? All in your thighs, I
yeah,
guess?
yeah.
That's what you're
and
using?
and your butt.
And then in the flex arm hang, that was my crowning glory. I would get like first or second in the flex arm hang. I was light, and
Chicken
I know
legs.
it was tough for the fat kid. I know. Yeah, I had no leg muscle. Right, sticks on the bottom. So I had a cheat code. But you'd hold it so long that you'd start shaking. Everything would start shaking. The elbows were going everywhere. And you're like, I can just go a minute longer. I can go a second longer.
Yeah. Your muscles are atrophying, just completely shutting down.
We should do a flex arm hang competition. A couple of years ago,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I was in New York. I went to this bar, and I watched. It was the SEC championship game. It was, I believe, at that time, it was Georgia versus. It wasn't Alabama. Can't remember who that particular SEC championship game was. And was Auburn in the SEC championship game like 5 years ago, 6 years ago? I think so. So, I went to this bar in Midtown Manhattan. Dan, you could find this bar, and they have a bar, not a one you drink at, but like a chin-up, pull-up bar in there. And it's a dead hang competition. And if you can dead hang for, I think it's 2 minutes, then you get free drinks or something like that. So my buddies and I all tried it. And that sounds real doable, right? You just find a bar, you grab, you hang. You don't have to do anything but hang on the bar. So it's really all grip strength. And you think, I can do this. I can't remember what the time frame was, but I do believe it was 2 minutes. And you hang, and it's one of those things that compounds quickly. Like the first 30 seconds, you're like, no problem. But from like 60 seconds to 70 seconds, problems really start to occur, and your hand starts to come uncurled, right?
Yeah.
And you start hanging by your fingers.
Cramping up.
And the mistake that I learned, I did not make the 2 minutes. Nobody did. Was trying to readjust your grip. You cannot readjust your grip. You go down immediately. So I tried to re-grip at some point, and you're just done. You drop. So you just got to hang it like a rock climber hanging on to the side of El Capitan, down to your fingertips, right to the end of 2 minutes. That's the way you got to do it. I say we do it. I have a lot of things in this brand new studio in Dallas. I don't have a chin-up pull-up bar. I wonder if I can get one of those
unnecessary
mounted.
for our purposes, but, that's just me.
I think we just found that it's necessary just now. We established its necessity.
I will tell you, it'll be zero.
We need to have for dead hang or for flex arm hang?
For any of it. I can't lift my right arm
Patrick.
over my head.
I feel like we have a mounting list of maladies. For
I don't
not even
gripe
sure.
about it. I'm just saying, I just tough through it. I'm always playing hurt,
Don't
man.
drive over bridges.
Sits in that chair too
Can't
long.
lift his right arm. You couldn't flex arm hang for 1 second, Patrick? Now I really want to do it.
I don't
I
think
could probably do it for a little bit. I've good upper body strength.
You don't have to raise it above you don't have to raise your arm high to do that. You just got to keep it right here, right at your chin level.
Yeah, I'm really
We'll
weak.
boost you up to start.
Well, do you think
boost you up to start? And then we let go, and you say you're going to go straight down?
you
Probably.
think you could climb a rope right now, Will, if you tried?
You brought that one up for your presidential fitness test, and that's really hard. I don't think I've ever tried, Dan. For a long time
There's
I
technique.
did CrossFit, and they always had the rope in there. I've never learned the technique, like on how to use your feet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand you're supposed to like pinch it between your 2 feet.
Yeah,
Is that right?
you wrap it around.
Is
I did
that kinda how you do
CrossFit
it?
for 2 years. Yeah, you wrap it around and then on either side of your feet, in between your feet, and pull up.
So you do a wrap, really? So like
Yeah.
you curl it around your leg?
Not
And then
curl
pinch?
it, but in between your feet. Yeah,
No.
it's science. It's
Okay,
physics.
no, I've never tried, man. So, I don't know. I could go a little ways based just upon arms. I could do it without my legs, but if I could figure out my legs, then yeah, I think I could do it. But I bet I could get 10 feet. Maybe not 10. I could get a ways. Just my grip is my weakest element in the whole equation. Little girly hands.
Not your grip on reality.
All right, so it's my grip on reality. That's all coming back soon. All that shame, all that embarrassment, and all that fun with the presidential fitness test. No fun for Sydney Sweeney. And now, Dunkin' Donuts. Story number 1. The ad featuring Sydney Sweeney for American Eagle has drawn the ire of the left. Invoking genes and the concept of good genes, she has now been called a Nazi. Here is the ad featuring Sydney Sweeney.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
All right, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. I think we can all agree that's the case. Can we all agree? See, this is where if you're just real for a moment, we can all go, yeah, Sydney Sweeney has good genes, and we're not talking about blue genes. But now the focus has shifted to Dunkin' Donuts. New ad from Dunkin' Donuts also mentions genes. Watch this from Dunkin'.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan? Genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer. Literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour Refresher, it's like the sun just finds me.
This tan, good genetics. Now I'm sure many people listening and watching like, what? I don't get it. Is the invocation of the concept of genetics, or that there's a scale of preferable genetics, good versus bad, now simply the province of Nazis? Well, that's what's being said, yes, on TikTok.
That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. I thought it was going to be like kind of bad. That's going to be in history book.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi. Saying anybody has good genes is eugenics. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, Nazi shit.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany. And they could have had her said anything. She could have just said, I'm hot, drink my bathwater, here are my genes. But instead they had her say, genes are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My genes are blue. Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen.
Well, now, you can always find crazy people on TikTok, right? Surely this isn't being filtered through the mainstream media or through legitimized commentators. But now, I give you an old friend of mine who I haven't spoken to in years, Mark Lamont Hill on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
You used the word normal and talked about it in the context of this white woman. White women are normal, but so are other people. The problem is, historically, we have only normalized white people. And so we've made white women's bodies, white male bodies, the norm. And we've made everything else less human, less beautiful, less real.
Let me ask you a straight question. Does Sydney Sweeney have bad genes? Yes or no?
No, I don't think she has bad genes.
Does she have good genes? Does she have good genes?
No. Again, you're trying for these gotchas. If you just
she doesn't
listen.
have good or bad genes.
The whole point is to argue that good and bad genes itself is a bad idea. It's a racist idea.
Why can't you have good?
That is okay. So from TikTok to Mark Lamont Hill, the idea of good and bad genes is bad. It's fascist. It's eugenic. And I think they don't even believe their own words. First of all, what is eugenics? That's what many people are using as a concept to get themselves back their way into fascism and Nazism and invocations of 1940. Eugenics is the now discredited set of beliefs and practices aimed at improving the genetic quality of the human population by encouraging the reproduction of people with traits considered desirable and discouraging preventing reproduction among those deemed undesirable. Eugenics was an early 20th century, early 1900s movement in science, backed by the science, listen to science, pushed by progressives that did in fact forward policies that said people of low genetic quality should be prevented from reproduction, forced sterilization, and so forth. Carried to its ultimate degree, of course, in Nazi Germany, it went further than simply sterilization. And that's bad. That's bad. Eugenics is bad. But to carry that absurdly, insanely into the idea that there should be a denial of good genes versus bad genes is simply stupid. It's like you have no discernment, no ability to separate one truism from another. And they don't even believe it. I know that to be the case. You know why? We all walk around making genetic choices every day. That's what attraction is. Attraction is a subconscious level of choices towards reproduction. Why are women attracted to men that are taller? Well, because they're making genetic selection choices about their offspring. Whether or not they know it or not, it's not simply your taste and what you're into. The world didn't begin and end with you and your preference. It's natural selection over time. Why? Probably in that case because women wanted children who were stronger, or a provider or protector who was stronger. That's correlated to height to protect them from potential for violence. But it's not just that. It's intellect. It's personality. On every one of these levels, people are making choices. And there are preferences in there. And it's not neither Sydney Sweeney or American Eagle or Dunkin' Donuts suggesting that white is better than black, or white is normal and black is abnormal. As Piers Morgan pointed out in a separate part of that clip, Beyonce was it American Eagle? She was in some other ad recently. Everybody's like, wow, Beyonce looks really hot. Because she is, just like Sydney Sweeney. And I don't understand how we can all of a sudden pretend that everyone is not behaving in this way. Genetics is real. I thought this was, by the way, the political ideology and movement of Charles Darwin. Evolution. That's what it is. Natural selection. Beyonce was in a Levi's ad. Okay. So is Levi's Nazi now? Or no, only because it's Beyonce and not Sydney Sweeney, or they didn't bring up genes. It's so fascinating all of a sudden. By the way, I don't even know where we are right now on sexuality and gender. Are we saying you're born this way or that it's a fluid choice? I'm not sure what the politically correct position is right now. For a long time is you're born this way, which suggests something is genetic. So an acknowledgement of the existence of genes. So what you're denying is that there are good genes and bad genes? Is that what we're denying? That there is no scale, nothing better, nothing worse? Is there a lot of people out there, by the way, going, I'm really attracted to Scott. Scott is super dumb, and I'm really attracted to that. No one is doing that. Literally no one. So you're selecting for intelligence, which has a genetic component. So if we can agree there, we've acknowledged that we have a scale of genes. They're not all simply the same, good and bad. Do we stop at that? Do we go to aesthetics? In every way we're making these choices. So is Mark Lamont Hill. So is every one of those TikTokers. They're literally creating something, carrying it to its nth degree, once again, in eugenics and Nazism. And running into the absurd, in this case, I think further alienating themselves from the vast, vast, vast majority of not just Americans, but people on this planet. Let's run this by Gary Buechler, a.k.a. Nerdrotic, who has a new book he's working on and a very, very popular YouTube channel. Nerdrotic, when we come back on Will Cain Country.
Hey, I'm Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Join me every Tuesday as we cover the full range of topics that are on your mind and speak with some brilliant, talented, thoughtful women and men who have excelled in their respective fields and careers. Plus, every Thursday is your turn. You get to be the lawyer and you get to ask the questions about whatever is foremost on your mind.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Did you hear the news? Now you can. With instant updates from Fox News for Amazon Alexa. Breaking stories and top headlines, the economy, and so much more. Brought to you by Fox News, America's #1 cable news network. Plus, setup couldn't be easier because everything's ready to go in the app. Just say,
Alexa, play news from Fox.
In Fox News.
It's the latest when you need it, on demand, from Fox News and Amazon Alexa.
I'm Benjamin Hall, Fox News senior correspondent and New York Times best-selling author, and I'm searching for heroes. Every Monday, I'll speak with a few silent but noteworthy heroes, everyday people who illuminate stories of compassion and are true embodiments of heroism. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast, Searching for Heroes with Benjamin Hall, wherever you download podcasts, and please leave a rating and a review.
Will AI, I know we're back, Dan. I know we're back. Will AI solve Hollywood? It is Will Cain Country, streaming live at foxnews.com, Fox YouTube, Fox Facebook. Dan, I was just talking to Ellie, who works with me here in Dallas. She's 22. She did the presidential fitness test. And she did, as part of it, the flex arm hang. And the box stretch.
Must
that
be a
you
Texas
did,
thing. Oh, no,
and
she's
the
from
shuttle
somewhere else.
run. She's from California.
That's right.
And the shuttle run that Patrick did. So, are kids still doing the presidential fitness test? They're still doing the flex arm hang. They got
It should
softer
have gotten
than you
harder.
guys and-
They should have made it harder by now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Kids are more athletic than we were back
Well,
then.
Up in Connecticut and Florida, they're just getting soft. No
Hey,
flex arm
we're
hang.
good at hockey and lobster rolls.
Yeah, well, it's true. I'll give you those two things. Yes. Let's ask Gary Buechler, a.k.a. Nerdrotic, who's working on a brand new book. It's called From Prison to YouTube. He has, of course, he's big on YouTube, the Nerdrotic channel. I don't know how Gary is, but I think he's in my range. Did you do the flex arm hang back in the day, Gary?
Yeah, we did the rope climb thing. We did we had to run the mile. But mine was the tribal workout. I had to go out and get a short-faced bear and a yak or something and bring it back. If I didn't, I wasn't eating.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
I'm
where
old.
did you grow up, Gary? Where are you from?
I am from Southern California. That's where I grew up. I grew up in San Diego. I'm in Texas right now, but
Okay.
that's where I grew up back in the day. We went to when I went to school. That was a long time ago. It was back in the 70s. So we did the presidential thing. It was I don't know how you guys remember it so well.
Well, because it's seared into my memory. A combo of embarrassment and pride. It was embarrassment on the mile run, but pride on the flex arm hang, and somewhat on the sit-ups. So, I wasn't a star on the football field, so this was my time to shine, baby. The presidential fitness test. By the way, you're looking good. If you were in school in the 70s. Damn, Gary.
I was born. The Beatles were still together when I was born.
Really? What year
Yeah.
did the Beatles break up? What would that have been like? Let me guess. Did the Beatles break up in 74 or 5? Would that be my guess?
70.
70. Really?
70.
That's way earlier than I thought.
Technically.
Yeah, that's way earlier than I thought. Gary, I don't know if you were just hanging out listening to me talking about this cultural sort of reaction to Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad and now the Dunkin' Donuts ad. And I guess the denial of not genetics, I would have bet you if I brought them in, they would acknowledge the existence of genetics, but they would try to take a don't judge me, bro approach to it of like the denial of good genes versus bad genes and the implication that any acknowledgement that there are some genes better than others is somehow eugenic.
They would argue that with white people. I mean, that's the argument with Sydney Sweeney is one of the dumbest things I've seen on the internet in a long time. At least, but it's a direct reaction to Dylan Mulvaney and the marketing, and we'll get to that. But as you know better than me, look into Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger when you want to talk about eugenics, if you want to know where it really comes from. And there's good genes and bad genes. I have blonde, gray hair and blue eyes, and I can't see. And I was born a drug addict, so it's good and the bad. The genetics, as everybody knows, are base programming. Genes are base programming, and it's what you become through life, through your behavior, how you're raised by a mom and dad. In most cases, what defines you. The reason they're calling this out is it was like leading a duck to water on this one. They knew exactly what they were doing at American Eagle, and I credit them because it is a direct response to Dylan Mulvaney. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they haven't bent the knee yet, because I think it's hilarious watching it play out, because it's the same people who wouldn't be saying anything if a black person had said that or a trans person had said that. It's the hypocrisy of life, and it might start an ad campaign where America's pulling its stick out of its butt. I'll say it because I'll say something. I'll be nice on this channel, and we move forward and rediscover a sense of humor. Because that's what we need culturally. We are lacking comedy. We are lacking. This stuff should be mocked to oblivion, and I'm glad everybody is doing it. I think it's good for the country. I'm glad people are complaining, and I'm glad this is the beauty of free speech. Will, we get to see people be as stupid as they want to be, and they should be allowed to, and then we can mock it. That's how balance we get back to balance.
You said a lot of things I want to follow up on there. I do a branded segment every once in a while, down the rabbit hole. And I take for granted that people might know what eugenics is. And I'm glad you said that, because it is a fascinating history. From Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood and the whole movement, they sterilized people, I believe, in Appalachia and Virginia and places like that. They classified poverty as genetic, and they would look to sterilize poor people, mentally disabled people, and so forth. It's got a fascinating history, and it was pushed by the progressive left. That's wholesale different than an acknowledgement in a differing quality of genes. And we all know that intuitively, and we all live our lives accordingly. We all make choices subconsciously or consciously all day long about who we choose to mate with, or what we're attracted to, or what we aspire to be for ourselves, that is geared towards optimizing genetics. We do. Whether or not you want to acknowledge it or not, we do that. You said something interesting when you said American Eagle knew what they were doing. Do you think so? I've wondered if they thought, like, whoever was in charge of this ad campaign, did they just think it was a cute play on words like jeans and Jeans, jeans, did they know they were walking into this potential thing? And I'm curious, would they have a do-over if they could? Or are they happy with the response?
I think they're very happy with the response. I think they knew that there will be a certain amount of clapback with that, and it's a pun. And I don't mean to say their intention was to stoke TikTok. It was a pun. Some of the worst trouble my channel has ever been in is over a pun, and it was "Let's talk about Blue Beetle," and it was over a Blue Beetle review, and that's the whole point. But they had to know there would be some clapback, and it would create some conversation. That's what a good marketing person would do. And look, it's blown up. It's helped their stock. My wife looked on their website. The jeans are selling out. It's worked perfectly. And the amount of clapback that they're getting is insignificant. It's small. We're putting it to light, and we should put a light on the cockroaches of the world. But for the most part, people are just rolling their eyes at this and moving away. And this is the cultural shift that we need. And it's going to be a messy cultural shift this year. It's a messy year. It's a chaotic year. And that's what usually happens when we have a cultural shift. And it takes time. And, who knows if things heal or not. But I definitely think they had some idea of what they were doing, or they, if they walked into this blind, that was pure luck.
Well, if they did know, here's what I like about it. A lot like genetics, we all do this, and we can't help it, and some of it do us less than others. But, you know, if anyone has the ability to think before they talk, you have the ability to go, I'm going to say something, and calculate in your own head, how's that person going to react to this, and make a choice whether or not to go forward, right? And on your individual life, you do it. You're at a party, you say something, you're like, man, I just don't want to get into it with these people, or I don't want to offend them. We do it. And then some people go, hell with it, I'm going to say it anyway, right? And then there are people, by the way, that can't see the conversation forward, that just have no filter between their thoughts and their mind. And then when you get into what you and I do, Gary, and I'm very familiar with this, you can start calculating what will be the response, what will be the backlash. And some people in our business go, well, it's going to be controversial, and therefore I want to do it. There are others that do it and say, it'll be controversial, and I don't want to do it. I think the job is just do it, regardless of what you think the response will be. Don't do it because you'll get controversy or because you won't, right? But ad campaigns and corporations are definitely ones that sit there and try to calculate out a backlash and pivot and react to the reaction. And then you start to self-censor, right, based upon these loud critics, and you can run off into insanity. And if American Eagle thought that far in advance, like you said, and said, I'm going to do it anyway because it's not wrong to talk about genetics. It's not wrong to do a pun or a play on words with genes and genes, and I don't care what the reaction will be. Well, then I totally respect them. I doubt they were doing a sort of Candace Owens style, this will be provocative, let's do that. But I respect them if they said, I don't care what the reaction will be.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much what it is and was. You don't see them bending the knee, and I don't see them apologizing anytime soon because they are making tons of money, and it was a calculated minor risk, like a minor risk. And it's great to see. It's absolutely great to see that that you bring everybody together, because both sides are pretty much mocking anybody having a problem with this. Aside from MSNBC, for some reason, who wanted to fan the flames because they're MSNBC, and the faster they die, the quicker, to be honest with you, because they are the enemy of the people. But I think it's great. I think they should continue this, and hopefully it starts. It looks like it may have started a little bit of a trend, and I'm all for it, because we need to just loosen up as a country completely and just learn to laugh at ourselves a little bit and not take ourselves so seriously. And that's what happens when you play identity politics, when you're putting everybody in their tribe and you're putting other people, like you're putting certain groups above others to fight discrimination. You're being discriminatory, and it doesn't work, obviously. And it's something that should be laughed at this point, because it's never worked. It's never worked in commercials. It's never worked in movies or TV shows.
Well, Gary, you mentioned a moment ago that when you were talking about genetics, that you're a drug addict. Interesting in that, first of all, Gary Buechler, a.k.a. Nerdrotic, has a very popular channel on YouTube, but he is the author of a new book, Waiting for Nerdrotic, From Prison to YouTube. And I understand, Gary, you're crowdfunding for this book to be published. And it's about what you just talked about, your life story from, I guess, in part, that predisposition for drug addiction and prison to where you are today.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate it. Yes, we are crowdfunding it through Rip Ascend. It is a completely independent project. My friend Eric July has a comic book publishing company called the Rip-A-Verse, and he allows independent publishers to run basically a pre-sale through his website, and then he does the fulfillment, which is very helpful to authors because the fulfillment part is the hardest. And that way I don't have to worry about publishers telling me what to do. And it doesn't really get in the way of my YouTube channel. So the book is basically my AA story. It is, what I was like, how did I get there, and what it's like now. It's not, I'm not trying to glorify any of it, but I was definitely born an addict. I didn't have any self-control from the earliest age. Had to eat all my Halloween candy, all that stuff. if I wanted somebody's toy, I would just take it. I broke into my first house when I was like 7 or 8 years old to steal a toy. So and this wasn't my parents' fault. I was adopted, right? So to be as brief as possible, I was an addict all my life. Had some abuse that wasn't my parents that happened in public schools. I could go on that rant another day about how teachers unions protect teachers who abuse kids. If you go to Angry Cops, he's done a lot of stuff with the Buffalo School District concerning something like that. If you want to go over a look at that, but very passionate about that. So that led to not really trusting authority at all, ever, and it led to kind of a nightmare of a life. I got kicked out of. It's true. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. I eventually got kicked out of San Diego High, Sunset High, and Carlsbad High in Southern California. And it led to a life of homelessness, drugs, ended up in jail, ended up in Folsom Prison, got out, put my life together again, relapsed, and crawled my way out of that relapse later on. And it's a life of ups and downs. And again, I'm not glorifying any of this at all. It's just to show that even a schlub like me, could be absolutely destitute and climb my way to mediocrity, which I'm completely happy to be at, considering where I was. And through gratitude, through the program of AA and NA, had a lot of help with family and come out the other side. And some people will say, from prison to YouTube's a lateral move. I would agree. But it's honestly, listen, I'm grateful for my life. And this happened later in my life, which I did not expect. I have been approached to write a book for years, actually, even prior to YouTube, through AA and stuff. I never really wanted to do it because I don't know how to write. I had a lot of help. And we did it, and hopefully somebody gets a few laughs at my expense and see that even the biggest idiot can somehow rise above and get through life through and not just perseverance and stuff, just one day at a time.
Right.
Realize through gratitude. That's really been the key for me.
Gratitude. I haven't yet read the book, so I'm going to follow up with 2 curiosities.
Sure.
You said that you always had an addictive personality, even behaviors, from Halloween candy to toys. I'm curious how old you were when it became substances. Like, how old were you when you started, I guess, abusing and being addicted to whatever it was, drugs, alcohol?
12 years old.
12.
I started.
And what was it?
It was alcohol. So I had these little plastic high C. They're the juice boxes of the 70s, and I would pour some of it out and pour whatever liquor was in the cabinet and drink it at lunch at school. So 12 years old, and then pot too.
Okay, and even into adulthood, did it remain alcohol?
No, I graduated to speed. Speed was something that I felt like I was looking for all my life. And in the beginning, I started finishing homework, which I never did. That quickly went downhill because in all cases, you're always chasing the first high. And then it devolved into, I was a dealer, I put in air quotes, as a teenager, mainly, doing my own stuff. I was the worst dealer ever. And to be honest with you, I never could afford a scale or anything like that. And, it led to me like making it and cooking it and stuff, like really dark stuff, really dark stuff at a very early, by the time I was cooking, it was like 16 or 17.
My goodness. And then the other curiosity is what led to Folsom Prison?
Well, burglary. That's what led to it. So I had to fund my addiction. And I was a horrible dealer, so we started car hopping and graduated to burglary. And Folsom was my second one. So I'd already been convicted the first time. I did a year in county jail, ended up going to fire camp. So it was actually, I got in great shape. I went to work for the I was a prisoner working fire lines for the CDF. And then went back out, got in shape, and went back out and got high again, burglarized the house with somebody in it, and learned, saw a gun. The best security, if you got a minute, the best security for a house is not a big dog, it's a small dog. So I went in there and I immediately wanted to leave. When I got in there, and a small dog started barking and yapping, and I wasn't going to hurt the dog. I just wasn't going to kill the dog. So I tried to leave, and this was my higher power working in my life. When I went to leave through the garage on a side door, the door handle fell off the door, and I couldn't get out. So the guy in the house caught me. He put his gun. I could see the bullets in the chamber. And the cop that night saved my life. That guy probably would have just shot me in the head. His hand was shaking. And that sent me away for a 4-year sentence, which, for good time, you do about a little over half at Folsom. And I ended up behind the wall where Johnny Cash played, and it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Oh, man. I mean, I could actually talk to you about Folsom Prison and your experience there for like an hour. I had a long conversation with a guy last week who was a county jail SWAT team guy in Northern California. And he was telling me the differences between prison and jail. We were talking about prison gangs and the necessities or the way to get out of it, or can you get out of it, avoiding having to be in those situations. And honestly, we were talking about rape and the whole deal, and he was telling me basically there are very few people like me, meaning that you do something bad in your life and you end up there. There are people, but the vast majority of people in prison and in jail are people that are used to being in prison and jail and have been there generationally and so forth. And so they look forward to the gangs and the politics of prison. And for other people, it's a really, really different experience. But he did make it sound like you don't have to participate in the politics.
100%. I was told there's kindness in there, right? So they probably saw this young buck with long blonde hair that I immediately cut because the first words yelled at me when I got to prison were, "Hey, Goldilocks, you want some of my sack lunch?" So I cut my hair, but I was told by another prisoner, it's like, "Hey, mind your own business, and I'll clean this up for you. Mind your own business. Don't mess with the gays. Don't gamble. Don't do drugs, and you'll be fine." And that's what I did. I mind my own business. I stayed off the yard for the most time, and I just read a lot of books. Now, you can't avoid fights. I actually got more fights in county jail than I did in prison. You just can't avoid it because some people just don't like the way you look, or there's something over shower shoes, and you can't like not fight. Once it starts, you got to finish it. Even though most of mine were like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked right now, but I have to do it. I have to fight. But that was far and few between. Mostly it was pretty boring, and I read a lot of books.
Well, you were very, very humble in saying that you have graduated from prison to mediocrity. I think anyone that knows you and is familiar with you, and you've been on our program several times, knows the success of the Nerdrotic channel on YouTube. So far beyond a mediocrity. And we normally talk about culture, as you do on your channel, Gary. And so our boy Two-A-Days Dan, one of the producers here on the show, had this idea. And I said, "Where'd you get this idea, Dan?" And he said, "I just kind of thought about it on my own. So I don't have an article to point to or anything like that." But he brought up the question. We talk a lot about AI. And here's the question. Do we think that AI might actually help or save content creation, help or save Hollywood? And at first, you kind of have an aversion to it because you're like, well, everything's fake and everything's this, whatever. So is acting. It's fake. It's the profession of being fake. But with Hollywood producing so many sequels and franchises and true mediocrities, I think out of risk aversion, Gary, largely, like, we can do another this and we'll get people to go to the theater and give us $7, $10, versus, hey, here's a pretty cool story idea. It's unproven. There's a risk aversion in Hollywood to doing that and putting whatever it's going to take, $50 million into a project. But with AI making everything cheaper and easier, I actually think we could end up potentially having a much broader and better option of stories.
I agree. And it might not necessarily come from Hollywood. It might come from a 15-year-old kid who knows how to prompt. If it's anime, like you'll see a return of 2D animation. You'll see a return. Video games will become cheaper to produce. Everybody involved in CGI will the sad thing is a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Will, like a ton, like it's over in a few years, and it'll be just AI prompters. But yes, it will become cheaper, and I think in a way it'll save Hollywood. Will they? I mean, you can't unmake the soup at this point, and they brought it on themselves. I mean, this summer we just saw the 7th sequel of a dinosaur movie and the 3rd reboot of Superman in 20 years and another Fantastic Four movie. And I'm about to go see Naked Gun, which is a remake of a comedy. We're not seeing anything original. So humans are acting like AI anyway, and the corporations are. So I think AI is a tool, at least until the robots come and take us all over and kill us. But it's a tool that can be used by independent artists. So I think it'll kind of crash open the gates of Hollywood, and we might see more independent places and more imagination coming from them. Because why would you want to go work in Hollywood when it's just as easy? And this will be mainly in animation, when you could just do it from home. As far as producing movies, yeah, we're going to see a movie with Clark Gable and a young Harrison Ford and John Wayne in our lifetime. A full movie. It'll happen.
You know what's okay? So here's two fascinating things about that. You said we're going to lose a lot of jobs. I literally think I can't think of the job that is safe in that. Maybe director, because he becomes the prompter of the AI. But from the actors to the cameraman, everybody involved, that job is, highly, highly vulnerable. But the idea that we're going to see Clark Gable and a young Harrison Ford, what's fascinating about that is, does Harrison Ford own his intellectual property, his image, his name, image, and likeness, and he'll make money into perpetuity based upon licensing that look? I think that's a really interesting question. And by the way, that's finite. If you're not producing new actors, we're going to be stuck with a period of about 100 years worth of actors. And the offspring of those generations of people will be rich into eternity.
Yes, and that's a really good point. And while the actors and I understand this, I like artists too. I like the human touch. I prefer authenticity. I'm not like rah AI, but the point is moot at this point. It's done. So these actors might come out and say, I'm against AI, and they're all signing their names off with licensing deals. They're all, because it's going to be huge money for them and their estates forever. And you're absolutely right. It's gonna hurt the talent pool. And if you start hurting the talent pool, this of sports, that like if there's a finite number of talent, and if it starts going somewhere else or being independent, your industry collapses. And it looks like that's what's Hollywood will always be around, but it's not going to be the big dog anymore. It's just not. And it's other countries are going to start competing. We're already seeing that. And I at this point, I'm kind of for it. Seeing new stuff. I need to see new stuff. As a huge superhero fan, I just want to see something new. God, or a good Western.
Well, what do you think about you and me? Like, we're similar. We're not exactly the same. I guess I'm in parts a journalist. I'm a commentator. I'm an analyst. I'm a newsman. I'm a show host. You are a cultural critic, a show host. I do wonder, with the immediacy of what we do, and the fact that we're paid for essentially our thoughts. That's what we're paid to do. Are we replaced by AI? You could optimize thoughts for maximum appeal, and you have an AI generated. A news anchor would be easy to replace. A commentator, an analyst, unique thoughts, that's a little more interesting. But I wonder if we already know there are AI influencers. So like that's a whole business right now. Like you're scrolling TikTok and you're looking at somebody talk about a product or something like that. It's already chock full of AI, meaning not real people who are selling you on an idea. But I wonder how far we're away from watching AI shows, not fiction, not scripted, unscripted, what we do.
I think we're a ways from that because AI is still pretty dumb. I mean, just try to get Grok to draw a picture of you if you're not paying for the premium version. But everything ends, Will. I think it's all up to the audience. I am hoping, this isn't exactly a belief, I'm hoping there's going to be an analog generation that rejects all of this. But that would be all tech, and that would still be over for us. But I think that would save humanity. But all things end, and eventually, yes, I think there'll be. I think it'll replace VTubers, and it will eventually get down to even commentators. And there's not a lot we can do about it. But I think that's years off.
Well,
I'm
the
glad
analog
I'm old.
thing. The analog thing is there will be a desire, there will be an appetite for authenticity and human connection. There will be that. It's just, how does it manifest? People that watch you on Nerdrotic are connecting to you as a human being and your story and your thoughts and your tastes, right? And your humor. And that's an element that AI just simply can't capture. It can maybe be more entertaining than you. It might even at times be more interesting than you in its thoughts or its review, but it can't ever add the human connection.
No, I don't think it can, because it's still an aggregate, right? It's still just pulling off stuff, and it's not intuitive. It doesn't feel emotions. So it will be, if it does show somebody going off on something, we're still going to be able to tell. There's still going to be an uncanny valley. We recognize the human face. We recognize real human behaviors. It's still pretty easy for me to recognize AI, and I dip out immediately. I watch a lot of history videos, and there's a ton of them on YouTube right now. And the minute I can tell it's AI, I'm gone. I don't want to hear that. I don't care.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I still need that human being behind it, and I don't think that'll change anytime soon. Maybe it'll be generational, but even for now, with Gen Z, I still think they want authenticity. Although I don't understand them that much. But.
All right. Well, listen, check out the Nerdrotic channel on YouTube, and check out Gary's crowdfunding for his new book, Waiting for Nerdrotic, From Prison to YouTube. You just heard some of his story, which is a story worth hearing. And if you want to help participate, one more time, Gary, where can they go to crowdfund your new book?
They could go to ripascend.com. And it should be the first thing that pops right up. And there's other crowdfunders there too. But I really appreciate you having me on and bringing up the book. And
you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah. It's
all right,
always
Gary
fun.
Buechler, Nerdrotic. Always love talking to you. All right. Thanks,
Take
man.
care, Will. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right, quick hits in the world of sports, including what is Christian Wilkins doing at the bottom of piles that might have got him cut from the Las Vegas Raiders. Plus, Eric Swalwell wants to have a bench press competition coming up on Will Cain Country.
I'm Benjamin Hall, Fox News senior correspondent and New York Times best-selling author, and I'm searching for heroes. Every Monday, I'll speak with a few silent but noteworthy heroes, everyday people who illuminate stories of compassion and are true embodiments of heroism. Make sure you subscribe to my podcast, Searching for Heroes with Benjamin Hall, wherever you download podcasts, and please leave a rating and a review.
Every weekday, it's your go-to source for staying informed and entertained. The Fox News Primetime Highlights Podcast. The Ingram Angle, Jesse Waters Primetime, Hannity, and Gutfeld. Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com.
Alex Pilow's legendary season rolls on as he eyes an historic three-peat. The Pato Award won't go down without a fight as he looks to chase him down in Portland. August 10th on Fox. Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Christian Wilkins cut from the Las Vegas Raiders under seriously mysterious circumstances. We explore. Plus, could we see the return of the Washington Redskins? It is Will Cain Country, streaming live at foxnews.com, on the Fox News YouTube channel, on the Fox News Facebook page. Hit subscribe at Apple or on Spotify. Tinfoil Pat, Two-A-Days Dan, let's do a version of Quick Take here now. Take it away, Tinfoil. Who wants us to know it's Quick Take? I guess I keep saying Quick Takes. And he's made it a play off of First Take.
You say Quick Hits. It's Quick Takes. Just like we have another segment called Second Take. It's a First Take pun.
How many take segments can we have, though?
Since you were the former host of First Take. So
Was I?
Or whatever. I don't know. A contributor, whatever.
All right, let's do this. We got a lot of good stories in sports we want to get to. So hit the music, Two-A-Days, and take it away, the most exciting man in broadcasting, Tinfoil Pat.
Crap, I keep forgetting this guy's name.
Good start.
But yes, this is bad. Hold on.
Right out of the gates.
Nailing it.
It's
Firing all cylinders.
This isn't Dan. It's not
It's like
a
we
false
surprised
start,
him.
like in swimming. If you're on the blocks and you leave early, it's like the whole heat has swam the first half of the first 25, and you're still on the blocks adjusting your goggles. And everybody said ready, set.
It's like
you
we
heard
surprised
the ready,
them.
set
Yeah.
part. It's like, yeah, I know. So you know what comes after ready, set is go.
Christian Wilkins, former
there we
Raider,
go.
now former Raider, former Clemson Tiger. We know him well. He was cut from the Raiders this week, and there's some questions about why exactly he was cut. Some say, they were doing it to save a little money. Other people say he may have done it he may have been cut because he kissed a teammate on the forehead. Who knows?
Okay.
What do you think?
Christian Wilkins, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. A run-stuffing defensive tackle. Like, when he's cut, I immediately think, I want him on the Dallas Cowboys. But this is super suspicious, okay? I believe he was owed something like $34 million left on $84 million guaranteed. I think he banked $50 million in, 2 years with the Raiders. I think I have my numbers in years right. And you wonder why. What's going on? Now, the report from ESPN and Adam Schefter is that Wilkins, first the report is his teammates are uncomfortable with it. They don't want him on the team. That's what you're picking up, what they're putting down. They want him out. Then the report from Schefter is that in the locker room, he kissed a teammate on the head, and the teammate got super offended. Well, first of all, I don't buy that. There is no way that's the story. Even if you're a dude who, first of all, I don't make a practice of kissing other men, but we're not even talking about that. Like, if you, well, I mean, you could see a guy do that in a non-sexual, intended to be offensive manner. I could picture, it feels like you Northeastern guys would do this. Like, you're sitting down,
I take
and a
offense
guy
to
walks
that.
by, and I lean down and see you later, sweetheart, and kiss you on the top of your head, right?
As a
First I'm like,
joke?
what the hell, Dan? Yes, as a joke.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Totally do that.
Yes,
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
a joke. See, I was right about you, North.
Damn it.
I could have seen it happening in the water polo locker room, and the guy that would have done it is the guy like Christian Wilkins, meaning the big burly guy who can get away with it and bully you, and there's not much you can say.
My sweet man.
You know what I mean? So, but I wouldn't have gotten super offended. And I don't think many would. I actually don't think many would at that, if that's all there is to the story. Do you see what I'm saying? If that's all there is to the story, there's no way you're cutting one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. You'd go and you'd be like, come on, Christian. Hands to yourself, man. Quit doing that.
That's
and you'd
assault,
go to
brother.
the other dude and you'd be like, lighten up, Francis. That's what you would do. You wouldn't go straight to, you're off the team and nobody wants you on the team. There's more to the story. And as part of more to the story, I don't know, Patrick keeps making faces here, so we're going to have to see what he has to say. As part of the more to the story, there's a ton of videos coming out about Christian Wilkins and the stuff that he does on the field. There's several occasions that you can see the videos on YouTube where he has grabbed the junk of other guys from other teams. At Clemson and when he was with the Dolphins. He seemed to have done it more than once to Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen gets super mad and gets up and pushes him and starts saying something to the ref. And then there's I believe there's a video of him when he was at Clemson kind of doing an oil check on a guy, right? Or swiping a credit card on a guy. Just going, not going for the junk, but just giving him a little.
But is that mental warfare?
Yeah, a little shocker on the backside.
Is that just getting in their heads?
I think we've.
Well, he does.
Well, I think we've arrived at the debate. I think that's what we're having a conversation about. Is that what he's doing? Or is there something more? What is going on that has led to you being unemployed and nobody wants you on the team and you're not signed, right? There's a lot that, we now are veering into the realm of speculation. Everything I've shared with you so far is facts. But all I'm telling you is the facts that we have don't add up to the story we're being told. And Pete Carroll, the head coach of the Raiders, is choosing no comment. We've never seen a story like this that I know of in the NFL. So, what's the face you're making, Tinfoil?
I'm just trying to figure out what story we're doing next. So, don't worry about it. Just trying to
He
get ahead of the
forgot
game.
what the quick takes were. He texted me on the side just now, and I didn't answer back.
Really?
Yeah.
Patrick, I love you, man. I have a question for you, okay?
You said
have
Redskins.
told me
I'm like, we
in
didn't
private
talk
several
about
times.
Redskins.
You have told me in private sometimes that at one point you had a podcast and you wanted to do some comedy and these kind of things. I'm just curious, your performance background.
It wasn't good.
You ever try stand-up?
A lot of editing.
A lot of editing.
He's
Yes.
talking
There we go.
and here we go to
'Cause
start
we've been doing
the
this
show.
now. We've been doing this here for a couple of years, Patrick, right? And I keep waiting when the breakthrough is going to happen. I'm teeing you up.
It's funnier,
And
but
I'm waiting. Yeah, at some point, this is the bit. But what is going on? Story number 2, Tinfoil Pat.
Well, news out of the WNBA. More embarrassment on the court
here we go.
this time. Are we doing that one? I think we're still doing it. When
is this the one we said we're not doing?
Wait, we're not doing that one.
Let him do it. Just let him do it. No, you're doing it. Set
No.
the story up. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Patrick. Set the story up.
I
You're
wanna hear
doing it.
I want to hear.
A WNBA game was interrupted when an adult item was thrown onto the court, halting play.
Video
Never
not
mind.
shown. Video not shown.
Like
We're-
what?
no-
like
no
a
video of
beverage? Like an alcoholic
Well,
beverage?
yeah, or
An adult item? What,
a
Like an
headband.
adult bedroom item.
Adult bedroom item. So like a lamp.
like a sleep mask? Like a sleep mask?
say
CPAP
it.
machine.
Let's just go to the next story. The Washington
No.
Redskins.
No, I'm confused. No, and the audience, we're all confused.
We don't know what it
was
is.
thrown onto the court.
I can't say it. We would have to bleep it out.
Does it start with a D and end in an O?
Try.
It's an adult, aid. Adult aid. How about that?
Adult aid, like Tylenol?
Yes, like Tylenol.
Like a hearing aid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a sexual aid, if you will.
A sexual aid.
Oh!
For the ladies.
Oh.
Condom.
Sexual aid for the ladies.
Well, maybe
Okay,
guys.
it's a big
I don't know.
category. Can you
Maybe
narrow it down for me?
guys.
Last time we used this word, I had to bleep it out like 8 times.
No, you could say
This
this
is
word.
not an edited show.
You could say this word.
No, I cannot.
Can he?
Yeah, on radio, of course you can.
I think he's making the right choices.
I think adult marital aid is pretty good. No, marital aid. That's the right.
Marital aid?
Yeah, that's what it's called, I think.
So you have to be married to use it.
I don't
Okay.
think it is.
I think this is.
Yeah, right? You got to be married to use this thing?
Not technically. They just happen to. A lot.
How do
All right, from the photos
so
that
many
I've
questions.
seen, I'll help him out. It was large. It was neon green as well. And so did a fan throw this onto the court? Is that what happened?
That is correct, Will.
He doesn't know.
I do know. I saw a fan throw it on the video.
Did a fan got kicked out for making fun of a WNBA player for losing her wig? Did the fan get kicked out for throwing a dildo on the court?
There was no report of that.
Okay. All right. Get it together, people. Let's not do that at the WNBA games. They got enough things landing on the court when they're playing basketball. They don't need this as well. Let the ladies have some dignity
There's a
while
black
they
court too,
layups.
so you could see it more.
Really?
It was like a dark court. Yeah. Oh my god.
You didn't have to make it racial, Dan.
Gee, do not even start there.
This is the second time you've done this.
No,
on the show.
we are not doing
second
that.
Second time, Dan.
We are not going there, bud.
Now your wife's going to get onto you again. She got onto you last time.
I just got a text already.
These Nazi directions, Dan.
I just got a text already.
All right, this is Wheels Off. Story number 3, tinfoil Pat.
The Washington Redskins are thinking long and hard about President Trump's push
Dog. What are you doing?
Rename the team the Redskins.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a setup, man. You know, you didn't know that I was going to do this one. I grant you that. That's why you're all thrown for a loop, that I want to talk about the Commanders returning to the name of the Redskins, and now you scrambled while we're doing everything else, and that's your setup. They're thinking long and hard, which could have been a euphemism for our last quick take, story number 2. Long and hard marital aid. The Washington Commanders. So President Trump has said they should go back to being the Washington Redskins, and there's stadium funding potentially that's on the line for them to return to their roots, return to their tradition. I used to have this debate on ESPN all the time. I just want to share this with you because I think people don't understand this. This entire movement to move away from the Washington Redskins nickname and mascot emblem was driven by 3 groups. Far left woke white people, sports media, and a small group of activist Native Indians, American Indians. The vast majority of Indians, and I know this because there's polling, multiple institutions, including Gallup, of American Indians living on reservations and so forth's favorite football team is the Washington Redskins. That I don't care if you were on a reservation in Montana or Arizona. I'm not saying every Indian loves the Redskins, but they were the favorite football team. Not the Packers, certainly not the Cowboys. The Washington Redskins were their favorite team. They weren't offended by it. There was pride in this. There was pride in that emblem, which was developed and drawn. It's one of the best looking logos in the NFL by a Blackfoot Indian in Montana. That's where their tribe was from, who drew that. And it's beautiful, and it's great, and it's honorable, and I'm tired of hearing from these idiots that pushed us into the generic Commanders. That's my take. I'm ready to have that debate with anyone who wants to have it. All right. And that is a not quick takes.
Or off the rails. We brought it back off the rails.
None of that will be edited. All right. That's going to do it for us today. We will have Cain on Sports edition of Will Cain Country tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe at Apple or on Spotify. That way you can hang out with us 5 days a week. See you tomorrow.